Hey everyone, Adam here. I hope all of you are doing well. Today I want to talk to you about a phrase that's changed my life. That phrase is Amor Fati. But before I tell you what that means, I want to talk about how important having a proper mindset is and how this phrase helped me to have a proper mindset in one of the most difficult seasons of my life. So, there's a parable in the Bible, and it is about a man who built his house on the sand and another man who built his house on a rock. There was a storm that came, and the man who built his house on the sand, his house came crashing down. But the man who built his house on the rock, his house stood, and it's because that man who built his house on the rock had a firm foundation, and the one who built his house on the sand didn't. Now, I believe that our mindset is the foundation that allows us to navigate life well. It's so important that you have a proper, good mindset when you are living your life. And every once in a while, I'll come across a phrase or a quote that helps me to have a proper mindset. And Amor Fati was one of those phrases for me. Amor Fati means to love one's fate, or a love of one's fate. It was popularized by the philosopher Nietzsche, and it beautifully complements the ancient Stoic philosophers. Just that whole idea that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to what happens to us. And when you kind of bring Amor Fati in there, it says that not only can we respond, but we can choose to love what happens to us, because it gives us the opportunity to develop resilience and character and fortitude and courage and a bunch of other positive traits. There's another verse in the Bible that I want to talk to you about. And listen, my context is I grew up in a Christian home, and I still am a Christian. But regardless of whether you believe in God or don't, or you're a Christian or not, the reason I share these verses and these stories with you is because they have really applicable truth in them. So the verse that I'm reminded of when I think of Amor Fati is in James chapter 1, verse 2. And it talks about how we should consider it joy when we face trials of various kinds, because in the end, those trials are just making us better. Now, that's my paraphrase. I encourage you to go read the actual verse, but it tells us to be joyful when hard things happen, because those hard things are helping develop us into better people. And that is why Amor Fati makes sense to me. That is why it's a phrase that changed my life. And specifically with my situation, I was really sick. My body started operating very differently. I had tinnitus and vestibular migraines, and I was dizzy all the time. My heart rate would race whenever I stood up. I had a lot of problems, and in the beginning, I just thought that my life was over. But I learned, or I chose, and that's important, I made a choice to love my fate. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I am a much better person. And I don't love the word better, but maybe I'll put it this way. I'm more equipped to handle life's challenges now than I was 4.5 years ago. And if I wouldn't have gone through what I went through, I don't know that I'd be able to do that today. And so ultimately, I love my fate. I love what happened to me, because it made me the person that I am today. And that's a choice that I've made. I love the lessons that the most difficult season of my life taught me. And I love that I can make videos to help other people who are experiencing those same things. What once seemed impossible to overcome, I now know is possible. And it's because of the character and because of the fortitude and because of the resilience that I developed in the most difficult season of my life. So if you're facing something hard and you feel hopeless right now, there is hope. You can make it through what you're going through. And not only can you survive, but you can thrive in the next season of your life. And so what I said in this video, it may be hard to hear, but the reason I'm saying it is because ultimately I believe that Amor Fati, to love our fate, is the only way forward, because we have to not fight what life brings us, but we have to learn to love it, knowing that it's going to make us better people. And you can get through this. You can do that. It just starts with the choice to love your fate. I hope this video speaks to you, even though what I'm saying may be tough to swallow. But I hope that you can consider it and that you ultimately can make the choice to love your fate. That you ultimately can have the Amor Fati philosophy, because if you do, your life will change. Thanks so much and have a great day.